All right, so let's go tour the factory.
All right, now I remember touring your original factory before you advertised on my show, and I was really impressed with that factory.
Since we moved here last year,
Yeah?
twice as large, so
Oh man, I
be
can't wait
prepared
to
to
see
walk.
this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's all right, I get my exercise in. Oh, I know, they do it to me all the time. Every time we have a party, seriously, they're like, I want to see you open that big picture window with what?
I want
Here's
to see
exactly
you
what
open
it
that
is,
big
okay?
picture
See
window
this?
with one
Okay, watch
finger.
this. One finger, right? Okay.
I like it.
The window, the big picture window that I have inside my great room,
Yeah.
and this was, what, 15 years ago probably.
Sounds about
that
right.
you guys put that in.
Yeah.
And you weren't even an advertiser on my show yet. Okay?
No.
But here it is 15 years later, and I still have my friends coming over to the house going, let me see you open that with one finger now. And I did that honestly just a couple of weeks ago. I had to come over and I was, all right, here we go. The giant picture window with one finger. And I'm thinking to myself, I end up doing a commercial for my friends there because I told them, I said, if these weren't WeatherGard windows, in the last 15 years, I would have had to replace these, what, at least a couple of times?
I don't have to pay for that spot, right?
Actually, you do. Well, the thing about color is, though, it's not like the old days, oh, just white, or maybe white and tan. Fact is, people paint their houses a lot of different colors, even inside the house.
So let me show you some of the options we offer now. So
Right.
we have custom paint on the outside. I can
Right.
paint any color you want.
Right.
And I've done all sorts of interesting colors, blues, reds, greens.
But it doesn't have to be the same color inside and outside. You can have different.
No, on the inside, you know, in addition to the standard colors, we also have custom stain, right? So we
Okay.
have 6 different stain options, which is actually hand stained, and it's a patented process that creates a texture to the vinyl. So if you actually run your hand over it, it feels like wood.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, Bob, so here's an example of a window that we custom painted on the outside. So let me show you that.
All right. Nice.
Right, and that we give a warranty on the finish. You never need to repaint it.
Right.
It's done.
Got it.
And then on the inside, custom stain.
Right.
Now feel that.
You know what? And honestly, it feels like wood. It doesn't feel like non-wood.
No, so we have a patented process that
Right.
actually gives the vinyl a grain, and then it gets hand stained.
Right.
And the beauty of that is it's a kind of a random pattern, like natural wood is.
Right.
And it feels
inside
like
the
wood.
home, it looks like wood. You touch it, it feels like wood.
That's
But it's
exactly
not.
right.
So you don't have like the rot and the wear and the things like that you would with actual wood.
Exactly.
All
The
right.
warmth and feel of wood without the maintenance.
No. So glass isn't really just glass, is it?
No, no. So there's a lot of glass in the marketplace right now, and there are several key components on making a good glass unit, right? So the first is the coatings. So we use Cardinal Low-E coatings, which
Right.
are the most efficient coatings out there in the market. And we also use a stainless steel spacer. And when they make the unit with the stainless steel spacer, not only is it structurally a lot stronger, but it does not conduct hot and cold like a typical metal or aluminum spacer. So you kind of have the best of all worlds, energy efficiency and structural strength, all
Right.
keeping the glass unit together.
Right. Well, that's one of the reasons why I see this in my own home, that it's not like when it's really cold out, oh, you have all that frost and the window's so cold and whatever. It's really amazing how it takes on the reflection of the temperature inside the house more than it does outside the house.
Yes, and really if you think about it, it's like a barrier to keep your heating and cooling load inside your house,
Right.
depending on the season, right?
Right.
So it's the rate of transfer is what it's focused on. That's what those coatings do. They really keep the temperature inside the house closer to that temperature you want it to be without losing it.
Hey, look, all I know is it saves me a lot of money because in the wintertime, my heating bills are a lot lower. In the summertime, my air conditioning doesn't have to run as often.
perfect.
You know, plain and simple. So
And then they're working as designed.
that's right. Well, paying for themselves.
There
That's
you
what
go.
they do.
There you go.
So we know, I talked about this all the time, they don't bow, they won't warp or bend or anything like that. I mean, why is that? What do you do to them that keeps them from warping like that?
Well, the key is to start with good, strong material. And the vinyl we use, I mean, you can see all these different pockets and grooves
Right,
and channels. This all adds structure to the material. And then what's key is, how do you put the material together, right? So we fusion weld. We were actually the first company to fusion weld in Michigan. And what this machine will do is it'll actually take the 4 pieces for the frame,
Okay.
melt the corners, or
right.
create a melt, and then the plates drop, it pushes all 4 together, cools off, and then you have one solid frame.
You're not screwing them together at the corners.
No, and that's
Right.
the problem. That's the problem with a lot of these kind of so-called strong windows. The material's strong, but it's not strong at the corners where it
Right.
matters. It's only as strong as how it's put together and how it's held together.
Right.
So we put all 4 pieces of the frame in the welder, and the welder knows what the next size is, so it automatically adjusts to the right frame size.
Right.
Now that all 4 pieces are in, we'll start the welding cycle. Now the plates will swap. And this plate that comes in is about 250 degrees.
All right.
And what it's doing is it's melting. It's a controlled melt at the corners. And it's timed so that it's just the right amount. And we recalibrate it and double check, on a regular basis.
Right.
And then once the melting cycle's over, which will happen in a moment, those plates will remove. See the steam coming up?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Oh yeah. And now this is the cooling cycle.
This is so much stronger than just duct taping those corners together.
Well, we still have duct tape here
Yeah,
if you want.
Hey.
Find 1,000 uses for it, but not for our corners, for
No,
sure.
I'm thinking no.
Here's our frame.
A little bit of a difference.
Gonna give this one a complex.
Right.
So we literally use about 55 to 60% more vinyl in the design of our window than your kind of industry standard
Right.
builder grade window. And all of these designed pockets and vertical, everything gives it structure, and all the dead air pockets create additional efficiency.
Right.
So we build it like this, and you never have to replace it again.
And the thing is, and I know I've talked about this with my listeners a lot, you would think you would pay a lot more for this than this. Now, in all fairness, this costs more than this. Let's not kid ourselves, okay?
It does.
But it really should cost a lot more
Correct.
than it does, but because you manufacture yourself, people are dealing directly with the manufacturer,
That's right.
and we're able to get the cost down.
I always find people are actually startled because they have a number in their mind of what this should cost after
Right.
they see it,
Right.
and then they get the price, and it's almost like, oh, no,
Okay.
that's not so bad.
But you got to remember, 10 years from now, you didn't have to buy new windows.
That's right.
20 years from now, you didn't have to buy new windows. I mean, somebody has their home for 20 years. They bought windows 2 or 3 times.
That's right.
With you, they bought them 1 time. So clearly these are saving you money, not to mention the fact through the summertime, less air conditioning being run. Through the wintertime, less heat.
You'll
being
definitely save on your
Pays for
heating and
itself.
cooling, and we're so confident in the design of this window. That's why we give a lifetime warranty, because
Right.
we know this is it.
run. And it's transferable too.
Yep.
Right.
You can transfer it
That's
to the
right.
next owner, and you never have to worry about
Well,
it.
it just makes sense. To me, it's a logical thing to do. As I've told you, Shlomo, you know this. Every window in my home is WeatherGard.
Yeah.
Of course, I made the decision to go with WeatherGard before you guys were ever an advertiser on my show. It really does just make logical sense. They've already paid for themselves. They already have. Not to mention the utility bills going down and everything else.
You know the only downside?
What's that?
I can't sell you more windows.
I know. That's why you're trying to get me to get an extension on my home. Bob, you need that sunroom.
Well, for your cabin up north, we'll
Well, that
when
is
you're
true.
when,
That is-
when you
we'll talk, my friend.
there we go. All right.